If you think you're gonna spend one more year feeling like you're just missing the mark, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like your life is completely out of your control, you must be new here. And action. Thank you so much for reporting for duty to the Pretty Princess Command Center, episode 20, where we are going to be going over every single thing you need to know when it comes to executing your personal rebrand, because baby, we are not going to waste time doing baby rebrands. No. We are going to do the best personal rebrand you've ever seen. We're going to go over everything from signs that you might be due for a personal rebrand, to why you should even bother doing one, to the Pretty Princess playbook on how to do a rebrand. And I am just so excited. Oh my gosh. And before we begin, as always, if you want to become an official Pretty Princess and join the Command Center, all you have to do is subscribe. It's really that easy. And if you have an entry that you want to submit to the Princess Diaries, the Google form link is always in the description below, so you can tell me everything you want to talk about for our next episode of Princess Diaries. So without further ado, let's get into this rebrand. Get your snacks, get your beverages, get your notebook, get your pens, because we have made it to phase one, going over all the signs that you may be due for a personal rebrand. Just to clarify, rebranding is not about changing who you are. You're not changing who you are. You're not going out and dyeing your hair a whole new color. You're not spending $1 million. It's literally just realigning yourself with the girl of your dreams, aka the best version of yourself, the version of yourself that you desire to be. Literally think about a rebrand as a software update on your phone, right? It didn't change how your phone looked. It just simply made it better. It made it work better, made it faster, it fixed all the things, right? You know, when you have to take your car to get an oil change, like your car wasn't broken. It's just time for an oil change. That's all a rebrand is. It's very simple, okay? So we're gonna get that out of the way first. Rebranding does not mean we have to go from a Carrie to a Miranda or a Miranda to a Samantha. Like, no. We are just rebranding. I said it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, if any at all. You don't have to get new piercings. You don't have to change your wardrobe. You don't have to move. You don't have to do anything. It's literally just about you deciding to be the girl of your dreams. You deciding to be in alignment with the girl of your dreams, who has her dream life, who has her dream everything. That's all a rebrand is. That is the goal of a rebrand, okay? But what are some tells that it's actually time for a rebrand? One, if you're watching this video, maybe it's because you're like, how do I do a rebrand? Valid. You know that you want to rebrand. If you don't know what you're missing and you just feel like, I need something, that's a sign that it's time for a rebrand, okay? Maybe you're feeling uninspired and you're just feeling stuck in your routine. Like every single day is just so mundane. You wake up, you make your bed, you make a cup of coffee, you take a shower, you do your makeup, you go to work, you get home from work, and you're just feeling very like, I get it. Like it's just hard to feel excited about anything. Like things that you maybe once loved and you were so passionate about, you're like, don't care. Literally don't care. You could take this away from me right now and I would not care. It would honestly probably be better. It's like, okay, that's a little bit of a, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling uninspired. Huge sign. Or maybe you're just like your mindset feels outdated, if that makes sense. Like you're just feeling like you no longer feel in your present moment like you align with the mindset that you have or had or your environment. And obviously we can't all just up and leave our environment whenever we want, but there are so many little things that you could do to change your environment. But you're just feeling like, ugh, like everything just kind of sucks. When you get home, like you don't care, like, yeah, my bedroom, I don't care to go to my bedroom. I don't care to go in my car to drive to work. Like everything just feels so stale and dated and like, wow, I just feel like I'm stuck in an endless loop of the same thing every single day. You don't even want to listen to your favorite playlist. You're bored. You don't even care to listen to your weekly podcasts, to your playlist. Like you don't care. You genuinely just have that feeling of like, can't be bothered. I just want to sit in bed and do absolutely nothing. And if it's not so much an environment thing, maybe it's a mindset thing, and like maybe you're canceling plans. Like every Friday you and your friends have been trying to make plans. Every Friday rolls along, you're like, I'm just canceling. Or on the flip side, you're overbooking yourself. And that's a big thing that I feel like a lot of people will say, no, I'm always making plans. I'm always busy. I'm always doing stuff. Like I'm great. I'm happy. I'm fun. Take a step back. Why are you overbooking yourself? You're overbooking yourself because as long as you have plans to go do, as long as you have people to see, parties to go to, events to attend, as long as you have all these things planned out, you don't have to spend time by yourself because you don't have time to spend by yourself. You don't have time in your schedule to sit down with yourself and feel that, oh, yeah, I actually am pretty uncomfortable up here, but I'm just gonna book another dinner. I'm gonna try to plan a vacation. I'm gonna go drive over here. I have to go shopping. I have to go to... I'm not saying that's always the case, but I'm just saying maybe it's something you've been seeing, you've been doing recently that you're like, oh, I don't usually do that, so there's probably a reason I'm doing that. And one of the last biggest signs that you're kind of due for a personal rebrand is that you just feel unaligned with your dreams, your goals. Like you don't have a vision anymore. Like maybe you had a vision, maybe you were in school and you were like, I can't wait to get my degree. I'm so excited. I'm so passionate about this job that I'm going to get after I get my degree. And you've always been great at your studies. You've been on your game, everything like that. And maybe now it's just, I don't care. Like maybe I'm not going to my 8 a.m. class. Like, no, I don't really want to study. I'll just hope that I pass the test. Stuff like that. Maybe it's your job. Maybe you just really don't care. Maybe you've been running a little late and you're like, I don't really care. Whereas before you were like, well, I want to get there on time or a little early. And now it's like, well, it's only 4 minutes. It's only 4 minutes late. Like whatever. Just stuff like that. You kind of forgot why you've been doing these things, right? Because once things start to feel mundane and you get so used to this autopilot mindset of like, yes, I get up, I go to work, I study, I do this, I do this, I do this. It gets so boring. We are here to live life for as long as we're here to live life. So if it feels boring, it feels mundane, that's not fun. But that's a great thing about a rebrand is that's how you can kind of like hit the reset button. Oh, life's all new again. But yeah, like I was saying, one of the biggest signs that you're kind of due for a personal rebrand is just very much you don't care about things that you once cared so deeply about. And that's different than not being passionate about it anymore, because you still want it. You still want that thing, but you just no longer have that drive to go get it. You're like, yeah, it's like all the way over there. I guess I'd be fine if I didn't have it. Whereas before you were like, no, I'm going to do literally whatever I need to do to get it. And that's fine, because you know what? It's okay to burn out. It's okay to go as hard as you can because you're super passionate, super excited, it feels amazing, and then realize, I need a breather. This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. It doesn't mean that it's too hard. It doesn't mean that you're incapable of it. It just means let's rebrand. Let's take a reset, take a breather, restart our computers, and go. Think of a personal rebrand as literally just the emotional version of cleaning out your closet. There's so many more signs, but I just feel like the general gist of all the signs that you're due for a personal rebrand is like if you just genuinely feel like, what is the point anymore? And not necessarily in like a dark way, but just like, damn, I don't care. I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter. Whatever, it is what it is. And then we know some of the signs to look out for when it's kind of like, ooh, you should probably rebrand soon. You should probably take a little reset. You should probably unplug, shut your phone off, give it a little restart, let it go through a software update for yourself. Those are the signs. Welcome to phase 2. We are going to go over why rebranding is so powerful and so important and like the actual psychological reasons behind it, because I know I could sit here all day long and just tell you like, oh, you should do it, it's great, it's great, it's great. If you're someone like me, you kind of need that like, I kind of want to see the facts behind this. I kind of want to see the science. I kind of want to see why should I even bother doing this? You know what I mean? So like I was saying before, a rebrand is literally just like a reset button on life. So literally imagine if you could unplug your brain. Like imagine if you were plugged into the wall and you could go unplug it, power down everything, go inside, be like, okay, these files are crazy unorganized. Like, oh my gosh, we need to organize, we need to clean up, we need to sweep, we need to do the Swiffer, we need to mop, we need to dust, we need to Windex. Like, oh my gosh, it's so messy in here. We need to go sort, file, organize. And then once you plug your brain back in, you're good to go. That's literally what we're doing. You all know if you want to change your mindset, you want to do anything like this, up this type of alley, right? Self-development, self-improvement, it's all a psychological study, which is so comforting to know that all of these words, all of these actions, they are all based on a science. So according to behavioral psychology, identity shapes your actions. And I feel like a lot of people think your actions shape your identity shapes your actions, and then your actions shape your identity. But you can't just act first. You kind of have to know, okay, well, why am I acting? Who am I to do this? Right? Because if you're not the type of person that would go into a store and steal a candy bar, you're not going to go into a store and steal a candy bar. If you're the type of person that's going to go into a store and steal a candy bar, you're the type of person that's going to go into the store and steal a candy bar, right? So the identity is first and then the action. So that's why it's so important to have a self-concept and know who you are and be able to take a step back and look and say, well, I don't like this part about me right now. Like, I'm not super stoked. Like, this isn't really benefiting me. So how can I shift my mindset on it and switch it up? And two, I feel like we've gotten so comfortable these days saying like, oh, you shouldn't want to change yourself. You shouldn't want to change. It's not so much about changing yourself in the negative sense. It's changing yourself to align with the life that you want. being able to look at yourself honestly and say, this isn't something that's serving me, this isn't something that's benefiting me in the right now or the long run, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop doing it and start doing this instead. So when you shift the way you see yourself, or you shift your self-concept, your habits will naturally follow. Life is just a huge giant melting pot of all your choices. All your choices you make every single day without fail, that's a habit. So whether you actively intended to make whatever that choice is a habit, or you just did it because on autopilot, that's just what you do, your life is literally just choices, and choices create habits. You can't try to change. You can't try to force a habit to happen. You just have to be the type of person that does whatever that habit is. So for example, when I say you just have to be your dream girl in every single second of the day, the easiest way to flip your mindset into that is say, what would the girl of my dreams do right now? Literally last night I did that. I came home from dinner last night and I had a little sweater and I didn't really want to hang it up in my closet for no reason other than my autopilot mindset and way of being is I don't really care if things are out of place until I care. So that's usually what makes my room get so messy, because I just won't put things back where they belong until I finally get overwhelmed and nothing is where it's supposed to be, and I say, oh my gosh, I have to spend 2 hours deep cleaning my room and like I'm so stressed out. But in that moment, I literally threw my sweater on that clothing rack, on the top of it, so not even on a hanger. One, that clothing rack is not even where the sweater belongs. Two, even if it did belong there, it didn't belong thrown over the top. It would belong on a hanger. I literally did it, and then I looked at myself and I said, nope, this is not what the girl of my dreams would do. This is not what the girl of my dreams would do. And I went literally the 1 foot away from that clothing rack to my closet, got the hanger that I took the sweater off of like 3 hours prior, put it in my closet. It was not that hard at all, but because my autopilot mindset, because this is how I've been my whole life, is just like, well, I'll just take care of it later. I'll just get to it. That's been my autopilot mindset. That's why I had to take a second in that moment and be like, what would the girl of my dreams do right now? And I just did what she would do. Therefore, I acted as that version of myself. So instead of being like, oh, I really want to wake up tomorrow morning so I can work out. I want to start working out. Instead of saying I want to start working out, you just have to decide to be someone that works out. And I know that sounds way easier said than done, I know. But like literally, when push comes to shove, that's all it is. It's like if you want to get up and go to the grocery store, the only thing you can do is get up and go to the grocery store. Or get on Instacart, whatever it is, and order all your groceries. Like there's no other way to get your groceries than going and getting them, right? So when you think about it and stuff like that, it's like, well, yeah, obviously, but then I don't know why, for some reason, the second it's like, well, if you want to be somebody that works out, you have to get up and go work. Well, it's not that easy. No, it is. It's just as easy as going to the grocery store and getting your groceries. But for some reason, it's like so sugar-coated, so coddled, everything like that. And if you want a more in-depth explanation of that, you can watch this episode of the Pretty Princess Command Center where we discuss having discipline over motivation and how it's actually so simple and it's actually way harder to look for motivation than it is to just stay disciplined. Another scientific psychological reason is the fresh start effect. This is taken from the behavioralscientist.com. It says, what is the fresh start effect? The fresh start effect is a behavioral science finding that suggests individuals are more likely to engage in goal-directed behaviors and exhibit increased motivation towards achieving personal objectives when they perceive the beginning of a new time period. This phenomenon is attributed to the psychological association of new beginnings with a clean slate, providing an opportunity to leave past failures behind and start anew. So that's why, oh, New Year's resolution, let's, like, you know, it's a new year, we could start fresh again, we could be the person we didn't live up to last year, we could start those goals that we've been pushing off, we could start eating clean, we could start working out, we could go for our dream job, we could start our side hustle, like whatever it is. Even like your birthday, it's like, okay, this is my year, you know, it's the first day of a whole new 365 days for me, like anything like that. Just we wait till the first of the month to do stuff, while we wait for Monday to start doing stuff. It's just that idea of like, okay, this is a clean cut start because according to all the calendars, this is the clean cut start. Why? Like, why are you waiting your whole life to the next time? Like, your whole life is just a series of right nows. So why would you not do stuff right now? Because that's all you have is right now. You could say, oh, I'll start next Monday. That's 5 days away. What do you mean? So what are you gonna do? You're just gonna slack off? What have you been doing this past 2 months? You haven't been doing what you want to do, so who are you to think you deserve another 5 days to get ready? You don't. And like I was saying before, for this fresh start effect, because it does feel so much better mentally to like start on Monday. I know I just like bitched at you a little to be like, no, don't wait, do it now. But I get it. I get it. Literally science gets it. Science says, no, that makes sense. Like that checks out, that tracks. But that's why I was saying spring is such a good time to do it. Quarters, if you start viewing your years in quarters like how businesses do, and that's why doing these personal rebrands, for me, I love to do them at the end of every quarter. Well, technically the beginning of every new quarter, but like it ends up being the end of the previous, you know what I mean? Anyway, so like I already have my whole game plan for quarter 2. I have all my goals listed out. I have my April goals. I have my master quarter 2 goals. Then I have my April goals listed out. Obviously, we'll see how those go, and then I'll make my May goals and I'll make my June, and we'll move on to the quarter 3 goals. And when you start viewing your year broken down like that, it's actually so much easier to get stuff done, because you're like, I don't have this huge window of time to get everything done. I have these 3 months to get these things done. And it feels so much more attainable. And it goes into that fresh start effect psychology. And of course, I have to mention the neuroplasticity of it all. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a psychologist, but I did make a really killer presentation. I was obsessed with psychology when I was in school, so I had made so many cool presentations about that stuff. But neuroplasticity is literally just your brain's ability to rewire itself. So for example, this, like doing this, I used to not be able to do it. And I saw this video of this guy, and he was like, let's create new neural pathways. And I was like, okay, slay, let's create them. I literally it took me a good 5 minutes to figure this out, and now I could do it without even thinking, right? But before, I didn't. So I literally, by me doing this, I created a new pathway in my brain. My brain said, oh, babe, like I see what you're trying to do. Like, let me get there, let me get there, let me get there. And now I have a bridge to walk on. So when I tell my brain, this is what I want to do, it doesn't have to hesitate. This one, I'm still a little slow at because it's a little harder. Or like the snaps, like it's fun to do it in terms of that, like these things, because you could actually see how your brain is like, okay, I'm not so good at it. And it's like, wait, like this is literally what I used to look like when I was doing it. I was like, that's what I used to look like when I was doing it. So having things that kind of instantly gratify that need to prove, oh, that is how this works. Because obviously a mindset shift and forming new habits and breaking old habits, that's a lot longer of a process than just telling your brain that this is what you want to do, right? So if you can play around with stuff like that, if you need that physical feeling of proof and evidence that it is worth it and it will get you to where you want to be, that is a great example of that. Because it's training your brain, it's building new neural pathways, and it's so much fun. And that's literally what we're doing with a rebrand, is we're saying, I don't want to have these thoughts anymore, I want to have these thoughts. So we have to build a new road to get there. So those are just a few of the actual psychological whys of why rebranding is so cool. Obviously there's so many more. We could go into so many different studies and examples and tests and all that different stuff, but at the end of the day, it's a proven fact that rebranding is literally an essential part to building your brain to be stronger, building your mindset to be stronger, building your resilience to be stronger. So why would you not want to do this? So with all that behind us, welcome to the third and final phase. Please consult your Pretty Princess playbook, and don't forget to grab your favorite pen, because it is time. It is time to create the ultimate guide, the ultimate blueprint, the ultimate game plan of the rebrand. Step 1 of this rebrand, we are auditing our life and we are decluttering. All you need to do to figure out any of this, just ask yourself, what is not serving me anymore? What have I been doing in my day-to-day life that isn't serving my greater good? What have I been doing in my day-to-day life that doesn't make me feel aligned with the girl of my dreams? What am I doing that is keeping me from achieving my goals? What am I doing that I have just been slacking on, and it's something that I keep saying, oh, I really wish I was the type of person who did this. I really wish I could change. I really wish this. I really wish. What are all those things? Write them all down. Write a list. We're decluttering and we're taking an audit. As you know, I have made a whole video dedicated to how to do a monthly audit, so it's kind of the same thing as this, except this is just a whole big picture. So maybe you have just been slacking on your routines. Maybe you're just not working out. You're not waking up when you want to wake up. You're not going to class as much as you should. You're not studying as hard as you should. You're not showing up to work in a way that you know you're capable of and you have enjoyed in the past. Just take an inventory of how your mindset has been towards everything, what your routines have been looking like, what your environment's looking like. And obviously, as I mentioned before, when we're talking about environment, we're not necessarily talking about your physical location. We're talking about, what does your room look like? Is it cluttered? Is it messy? Have you been wanting to rearrange your furniture? Stuff like that. Like, what are the things that are kind of making you feel like, ew, like I'm not happy with that. It could be something as easy as like, I'm not happy going to bed in my boxer shorts and my t-shirt. Like, I want to wear PJ sets to bed. It could literally be something as small as that. It could be like a workout routine that you've outgrown. I had to do that a few weeks ago because I was just feeling so bored. I was like, should I go to a new gym? Should I change the environment of the gym I go to? Should I stop doing the gym? Should I just try to do Pilates? Should I do this? Should I sign up for this membership? Should I start running? Like, I was like, no, I don't need to change the gym. I don't need to change it. I just need to revamp my routines, and I need to actually go. So I used to always do cardio after my leg days, on leg days, but I was like, I hate it because I'm tired and my legs are tired. I don't want to do cardio. I want to go home and eat breakfast because I just exhausted myself. I want to go home. So I started doing a smaller amount of cardio before my leg days. I did that this morning. I felt great. I was like, wow, amazing. And then I started having time after to stretch. And it feels so good to actually stretch and like roll out my muscles. So stuff like that. Maybe you are just feeling really bored with your clothes. You're like, nothing fits me anymore. I have nothing to wear. I need something new. Or it's just a mindset that's just been keeping you in self-doubt. Like, you've just been so trapped in that mindset of, oh, what if it's not good enough? What if I'm not smart enough? What if I can't do this? That's on you. If you want to make a change, it is your responsibility to change that mindset. Pull yourself out of it. It's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I never say that these things are easy, but they are possible. They were always going to be possible. You just have to be willing to do them. So take a whole audit. If you want to look at just this past month, if you want to look at this first quarter, if you're doing it right now, you could take a look at all the wins for each month and all the downfalls for each month. That's how I do my monthly audits, is I take a look at all the goals that I've set, all the things that I've wanted to achieve, and I say, okay, what did I achieve? What goals did I reach? What goals did I not reach? What were my wins? What were my downfalls? After we audit, after we assess, after we declutter, we kind of establish where the mess is and what it looks like. Now we can kind of see, okay, well, what do we need to clean the mess? Which is step 2, which is basically we're just going to define what we want this new era of ourselves to look like. We are just going to define what our physical rebrand is going to look like, what our mental rebrand is going to look like, and what our social rebrand is going to look like. The best way to do this is just go ahead and say, what does the girl of my dreams look like? What does she dress like? What does she wear? What does she smell like? What does she do every day? What are her habits? What are her friends like? What is her job like? What is her favorite song? What does she do every single day without fail? What does she eat? What does she do on a Saturday night? Like, stuff like that. That's the easiest way to mentally tap into it, because that's the best thing about thinking of the girl of your dreams, because you know exactly what it is. If I told you, what does the girl of your dreams look like? I know exactly how the girl of my dreams dresses. I know how she carries herself. I know what she wants to do. Like, I know what she does every day. I know how much money she makes. I know what she smells like, and I get to embody that every time I personally decide in my life right now. I get to say, well, what would the girl of my dreams do right now? I get to be exactly her. I get to close that gap and not be me and the girl of my dreams. I get to say, what would the girl of my dreams do right now? And I do it, and that's how I turn it into her. So for the physical, maybe it's a new workout routine. Maybe it's a new skincare routine. You do your makeup in a different way. You style your hair in a different way. You start dressing in a different way. Maybe you want to completely switch up your style. For your mental, it's definitely mindset. What is your mindset going into things? Are you going to wake up every morning and immediately find something to complain about and, oh, I can't believe this happened to me? Or are you going to say, well, nothing actually is happening to me because nothing's actually personal and everything is just happening, and I choose to believe everything happens for my greater good. So even if this terrible, terrible thing happened, I know 2 months down the line, 4 years down the line, 10 years down the line, I'm going to understand why this had to happen, so that where I'm here over here, it had to happen here and now, so that in the future, I could be exactly who I was supposed to be. And there are so many great books on just getting yourself to a place of that type of thinking, which is just so beneficial. it's just so, it just allows you to move through life with such ease, because you could kind of just see everything as like, nothing that happens to me is personal to me. It just is what it is. And it's up to me to decide how I choose to react to it. You know what I mean? And when we talk about social, this is more so, you know, how do you spend your free time? What kind of boundaries do you uphold in your friendships, in your relationships, with whatever it may be, with your work life, with your love life, with your friend, you know what I mean? How do you present yourself to a group of new people? Do you kind of sit back and are you just quiet? Are you an observer, or do you assert yourself and say, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so. You go in for the handshake. You don't wait for someone to go in for the handshake with you. You go in for it. You know what I mean? Just these type of things. Just how are you establishing yourself as a person? When somebody thinks of you, what do you want them to think? And not that we're doing this for external validation, but I think that's the easiest way to kind of take a step back, take yourself out of it, and kind of see yourself as a third person point of view as, okay, this is how I think of it. So if you can go ahead and do that when you say, well, what is my dream girl like? She wakes up every morning at 5 a.m. She journals, she reads, she does red light mass, then she gets her workout set on, she has a glass of water, she ices her face, she goes to the gym, or she goes to Pilates. After Pilates, she usually has a work, whatever, you know what I mean? Just stuff like that. Like, when you're thinking about it, like, I know you could think of someone right now that when you think of them, you just think like, oh my gosh, they always look so put together. I love their style. I just love their energy. They're so sweet. They're so soft spoken, or like they're so confident and they're so loud. Like, whatever it is, you can think of that person in your life right now. I can think of that person. That's how you need to start thinking of this rebrand for you. You need to step back and say, well, what would I want somebody, when they think about me, what would I want them to think? And again, not that we're doing this for the validation of what these people are thinking of us. It's for ourselves. But to help get more of a clear understanding of, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean I'm rebranding? How do you want to show up in everyday life? Another really great way to do this, I'm not gonna make this a requirement, but it is definitely fun. And I do this for every single quarter. I actually need to do mine for quarter 2. I make a mood board and I set it as my laptop wallpaper. I don't necessarily want to call this a vision board, but it's just kind of a reminder of like, I would love to be able to take these pictures in my real life and make a vision board out of my real pictures. Overall, that's what I like to do for every quarter. So I get to make one of these for my next quarter, and I'm so excited because we'll definitely have more of an emphasis on education and just like locking in and going. This one is more personal life, and I just know quarter 2 is going to be so much more work life and education focused, which I'm very excited about. Doing stuff like that is so fun. If you could see over there, you can't really see, it's not focused, but that's my vision board. I really don't look at it as often as I should, but I do have it across from my bed, so at night sometimes I'll just look at it and be like, yeah, I would like to have those things. And lastly, obviously, is actually making the change. We can plan it on paper. We made the playbook. We have every single step of that playbook listed out. We even have the vision board for it. We have the mood board for it. Now it's time to do it. It's time to execute it, which is arguably the hardest part, because obviously that's the hardest part of anything, is actually getting up and doing it, forcing yourself to do it. But doing this doesn't mean that you have to do every single thing all at once. Like, we don't have to do that, because it's not sustainable. You won't stick with it if you do every single thing all at once. Work in weeks at a time. So maybe the first week of this rebrand, you're gonna focus on cleaning out your closet and finding new pieces, whether you're shopping, whether you're thrifting, whatever you're doing, switching things out, just cleaning out your closet, donating stuff, taking it to Goodwill, taking it to a woman's shelter, taking it wherever. So you cleaned out your closet, step number 1. Let's say part of your rebrand is you want to have a whole new wardrobe, whole new style. That was step 1. Now week 2 is, I'm gonna shop around. I'm gonna try to find my new favorite stores. I'm gonna, I've been saving up my money so that I can do this. Week 3, maybe you're not wearing them yet. Maybe you're not comfortable wearing them yet. Like, maybe they're a little bit more dressy, or like just more out of the norm, I guess, than what you used to wear. So you're like, well, I don't really feel comfortable wearing this. Like, I'm gonna feel really overdressed if I wear this. So maybe week 3 is just you playing around, playing dress up in your closet like we did when we were little. You know, you're just putting things together, you're figuring out outfits, maybe you're on TikTok, you're getting fashion inspo. Might I say, you can get it from me, it's pretty good or whatever. Whatever you want to do. And then week 4 is, okay, I'm gonna plan a date, and then I'm gonna plan a girl's day, and I'm gonna wear 2 of my new outfits. And then you could be like, okay, week 5, I'm gonna plan a solo date, and I'm gonna wear this on my own. It doesn't have to be this like, oh my gosh, we have to fix it all right now. Obviously, it would be nice if we could do that. It would be nice to be like, oh, well, you know, here's my plan. I'm going to go balls to the wall, go for it all now. That'd be awesome, but that's not as sustainable as it could be. Or maybe if you want to start working out, you baby step. Instead of saying, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, no breaks. That's awesome. That's a great goal, and I'm sure you could get there, but if you're used to not doing that, going complete 180 into doing that is not the most realistic thing. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not the most realistic thing to sustain long term. So maybe you say, I'm gonna go to the gym 2 times a week for the first week, and then 3 times a week. And then maybe instead of adding 4 times a week, we say 3 times a week, but then I'm gonna go on one of the days, but I'm not gonna work out. I'm just gonna stretch, I'm gonna foam roll, I'm gonna go in the sauna, I'm just maybe gonna walk on the treadmill. You know what I mean? These steps could be as simple as renaming all your playlists on Spotify and adding cover pictures to them, so that when you go and click on your playlist, they have a new name, they have a new picture, and it feels more romanticized. Or maybe it's as simple as finding a new perfume you wear every single day, or just adding a new part of your night routine, just stuff like that. Just these rebrands don't have to be huge scale, they can be small scale, baby steps, get you to where you want to go. How I'm not gonna go out and print pictures to make a vision board every single time I want to change. So I just go on Pinterest and I download the pictures that I like, and then I go on Canva and I just pick like desktop background and I put all these pictures on there. And then every time I open my laptop now, it's like, oh, I can look at these things, and it kind of puts me in the mindset of like, wow, like I had these things as inspiration, but I do that every day. I have that bag. I can do that weight that she's lifting. I have been doing this on you. You know what I mean? You could kind of like be like, oh, I am in alignment with this. Just the little cues in your everyday life that kind of remind you, this is who I want to be. I want to be the dream girl version of myself. I want to be the girl of my dreams. Just little cues that would be like, okay, we're here. We got it. And with all that said, we are officially at the end of episode 20 of the Pretty Princess Command Center. And please just remember, rebranding is not about looking different or changing everything about your life. It's literally just about feeling different. And when you feel different, you act different. When you act different, you are different. When you are different, you open up a whole new side of life that you didn't even know was there before. What I want to know from all you pretty princesses is I want to know one part of your rebrand. What is the one biggest thing that you're looking forward to with a rebrand? Like, what do you want to rebrand? So on that note, I do expect you to report for duty for next week's episode, and I hope you have a pretty princess day.